beloved devotees. We are going to read from 12th chapter, 2 verses at a time. We already have the reading order lined up. And I think all that you are waiting is for me to start sharing the screen with you.
Sonia Mataji joined. Will you be able to read, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can't join. I can't read today. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
I'll be on reading, on listening mode.
Okay.
Shunvatam Swakatha Krishna. Punya Shravana.
Thank you, Mataji.
Just want to listen today. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. And I am sharing it with you or not?
Yes.
Yes, Mataji,
All right.
see your screen.
Okay, let's get going.
Chapter 12, Devotional Service. Hare Krishna. Text 1. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who are worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Hare Krishna. Sukamala Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. Text 3 and 4. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. Text 5. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Vashana Mataji. She on mute.
Mataji, you're reading on mute. Can you unmute and read?
Oh, sorry, Mataji. I'm so sorry. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Text 8. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus, you will live in me always without a doubt. Hare Krishna. Garima Mataji.
My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Text. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect state.
Text 11. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Text 12. If you cannot take this practice, then engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Vindhyavali Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Mataji, can you scroll it, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. Text 13 and 14. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fix on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Text 15. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and who is not disturbed by anyone, who is equipoised in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety is very dear to me. Hare Krishna. So, Kamal Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things, such a devotee is very dear to me. Varshana Mataji.
Hare, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah.
One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always a silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Text 20. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So should we do a little bit of reflection?
I like the verse where Krishna is saying, "I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death." So first of all, birth and death are compared to ocean. So and passing a ocean is so difficult, like in material world also we can see. And then he's not saying I am a deliverer, I am a swift deliverer. So it is so easy. Even we can see, if I close my nostril and I couldn't breathe, I just panic. If for a second also, my mom got some disease, something little bit, and she couldn't get breath for a, like for a minute 1,000th of a second, and she was like, she said, I couldn't tell what I am feeling. And whenever she get that attack, it was like she used to feel so miserable. So when that allergy happened, she was saying, oh my god, uh, she don't want anything else, just Krishna, take this away. So it is so painful, and Krishna is saying, I am the swift deliverer. So I really like it.
Very nice. Very nice observation. Actually,
in
go ahead, Kathy, go ahead.
in this chapter, Krishna is giving us like so many options, right? If you
Yeah.
can't do this, then do this. If you can't do this, so that shows his mercy, that he's not fixed in some way, right? He gives us
that's true.
all options. Depending on your situation, you can do this or you can do this. So
I'm always reminded of when we go out for book distribution. And so we like, they'll take the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, will you give some donation? Okay, no, I won't. Okay, do you want to just help our cause? No, I don't want to help this cause. Okay, do you want to have the prasad? No, do you want to chant the Hare Krishna mantra? No, I don't want to chant. Okay, do you want to have prasadam? Yes. Okay, here's a cookie for you. So Krishna is doing the same thing for us also.
It's 13 and 14, that's what he says. And all this, he gives so many options.
So many options, yeah. And that's the fantastic thing about this philosophy too, that it is that you can pick and choose and match it according to your personality. And that is what the whole Varnashram system is also about, isn't it? It is about this, that, are you a Kshatriya? Are you a Vaishnava? Are you, Brahmana? Who are you? Right? Depending on your consciousness, from every platform, wherever that you are, you can still reach out to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not like that only a chosen few and a few selects can go back to Godhead. And then it is also such a forgiving philosophy, right? Right? I mean, you did something wrong, karmani nirdhati kintu cha bhakti bhajam, right? You come to devotional service, forget everything, surrender to me, and then I will take care of you. Do not doubt about that. He says that. And then wrong things are done. There are routes that you can take. There's karma there to, that takes, karma actually is a mechanism or a methodology by which you give up the tendency to commit sins, right? Because you go through that constant chastisement via the laws of karma. And so after a few cycles, we get it. Yeah, few cycles, we get it. But I really like the fact that he said that Tesham aham samuddirta mrityu samsagrat bhavami na chirat partha. So he says it goes very fast, right? Na chirat. Chir means a long time. Chirka, right?
Not chirat.
Na chirat means not a long time. Doesn't take long. Like that's what he's saying. Doesn't take long. However, having said that, you have to understand Krishna is a very naughty boy. So he's saying that. So when he's saying it happens very quickly, so it's like it didn't happen. I attended Gita at 7 o'clock. Why am I not become a pure devotee at 8? So when he says Bhavani Nachirat Parta, it doesn't take a long time. What he means is that compared to all the long time that we have spent, millions and millions of births, right? If you can go back to Godhead in 10 or 100, that's really quick compared to thousands, right? Having said that, there were people like Maharaj Khadbanda who really went, went back really quickly. And then, of course, Dhruv Maharaj, who saw God even in their own lives like that. So there's hope for everybody. We need to be positive, continue this. And yeah, I'm just so delighted that you chose Eve to do Krishna Katha. This is fantastic. This shows taste, ruchi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Mataji. I was just remembering the childhood, this thing, or when we dealt with our children, always we used to give the options. Okay, you do your homework, I'll give you this. Okay, if not this, okay. No, I want that. So God is also, you see, He's offering so many options, giving us that somehow, please come.
Yes, Mata Dhata Pitamaha. Yeah. Varshana Mataji, if you can just let Vidyavali Mataji know, Vidyavadhu Mataji know that that the Facebook is started. She hasn't joined yet. I don't know whether she's having.
No, but
No,
she was,
that time
she's written that there's some internet problem and she's not able to.
Able to do that? Okay, I was not watching Facebook. I'm just watching Facebook. Okay, good. Okay, as long as she knows she's aware. She'll watch the recording, no problem. Yeah.
No, she was on the phone only, Mataji, when you told me that you are trying. So I told her that she's trying.
Yeah, but then she texted afterwards.
Afterwards? Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
After giving all these choices, at the end, at the 20th text, he says, those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Yeah. So he gave us a lot of choices. And at the end, he is telling, you need to take this path, imperishable path, and devotional service. That's what he says.
Right. And if it,
with faith.
Yes, look at second verse where he's answering Arjuna's question, which is better, right? In second verse. Why don't you look it up since you have the book with you?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, second verse.
Second verse, yeah.
Yes, Mataji. मैं अनित्य मनोये माम नित्य युक्त उपासते श्रद्धा पर्योपेतास ते में युक्त आत्मा मता. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect.
Same thing he's saying, to faith. You need to have faith.
Exactly. That's why I brought that he starts with faith and he ends with faith.
Ends with faith.
Yes. That's true.
So faith is very, very important.
That's true.
You cannot do bhakti without having faith, right?
Adar Shraddha, it starts with faith.
Adar Shraddha, yeah.
Yeah, Adar Shraddha. In the beginning, there is faith. Yeah.
And Namasya Mataji joined, so I will add her in the reading order.
Fantastic.
So Namasya Mataji, you will be after Varshana Mataji, and after you would be Garima Mataji.
Okay.
And more reflections. More. Kids say like that. More. My granddaughter says like that. More. More reflections. She says that to ice cream. Not to reflections.
So Mataji, here in this chapter, Krishna talks about personalism and impersonalism and tell which is the perfect personalism. And then suddenly he moved to the dealing with devotees, like, and how you should react in this world, like equipoised. You should be nice to both enemies and your friends.
Yeah, friends.
So, like the complete how you should live, um, it is very nicely explained. So, if whenever some provoking situations come, and if we keep ourselves reminding, oh, Krishna wants us to do like that, so it is little easy.
Yes, a lot actually.
Yeah.
It changes your perception a lot, a lot. In hand, that's why Bhagavad Gita is said as the manual of life. And in the last verse, Krishna says, "Ye tu dharma mritamidam yathoktam parupasate." Yathoktam. Find out. Open last verse 20. What is the meaning of yathoktam? Yathoktam. What is yathoktam? Ye tu dharma mritamidam.
Yata as Uktam said.
As said, right? So he's saying, listen, you have to listen to me, as I've said, right?
Oh, Krishna is asking like that.
Yeah. Ye tu dharma mitamidam yathoktam parupasate, right? As it is given, right?
Completely.
Parupasate? Yeah. What is
completely? Completely.
Right. So the yathoktam parupasate, Shraddha-ya paryopetas, right? What is the meaning
with
of
faith?
paryopetas?
With faith. With
what
faith.
Do they do? What do they do? Paryopetas. What is paryopetas?
Taking me, the Supreme Lord,
Right.
as everything.
Everything, right? So Shraddha-ya paryopetas te me tamata mata. Right? So he's saying that according to me, this is what it is. So yathokta means, as I have said above, which basically means that in the top he said, if you can't do this, do this. If you can't do this, do this. If you can't do this, do this. So he's giving you those choices. So he's not saying
he's giving choices and faith on me.
Yeah.
Who tells like that to Mataji?
Yeah, only he can say.
Yeah, too many choices.
He's the personality of Godhead, and you can see that in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, in the beginning chapters, he's being a little bit humble. Or he says, you worship that Supreme Lord and that Supreme Lord. And by the time it's 9th chapter, he says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto, madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mam namaskuru. You do some over obeisances to me, you silly rat.
And from 13th to 20, he's giving options.
Yes.
And how to.
He's telling you what can be hit.
Who is dear to him? Who is dear to him?
Yeah. And then we all want that we should become dear to Krishna, and he's giving you the recipe of how you can become dear to him. And then the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he tells you something who is the most dear to you, to him. Who is that person who is the most dear to
devotee, and who has who does the devotional service?
I can't hear anything. What was the answer?
18th.
Okay, go. 1869. Let's see 1869. What is 1869? Anybody's going to grab 1869?
Yeah, I got
1860.
Yes, Mataji. Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priya kritam bhavita na cha me tasmat anyah priyataro bhuvi. And there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear.
Okay, so he said there's no servant who is more dear to me, but he does not describe the servant in this verse, right?
Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah. So go back. Yeah. Go back. One verse, please. Go back. That's how you will find out.
Yes. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotee, pure devotional service is granted. And at the end, he will come back to me.
There you go.
So that's a pure devotional
service. Explain it. Yeah, preach it. Yeah. Preach. And one of the steps towards preaching is to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, because if people don't have books, then what will they learn? Right? So, right? Te me yathoktam parupasate. So he's saying, according to above, you do all that, but all that is fine, right? All that is fine, but the best one is he who shares.
And the one before is also.
Huh? Vindhyavali?
The one before also, it says, this comprehension knowledge may never be
Yes.
explain to those who are
Right.
not astray, are devoted, or engaged in devotional service,
Yes.
not to one who is envious me.
There you go. Envious of Krishna. We don't want to listen. We don't want to obey. Envious of Krishna. So, yeah. So you see, this is what it is. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amara agya hai, that you distribute this knowledge to the whole world. Because by doing that, you will become priya to Krishna. And yesterday I was talking about how do you please somebody? Varshana Mataji, you remember? There were two ways in which we said we can please someone. And I had taken your example, actually. That's why I'm asking you. I'm not putting you on spot. You remember? The two ways in which you can please somebody.
Giving them prasadam.
Okay, that will always please me for sure. So two ways in which you can please a person.
Mataji, by praising them. By praising them.
Well, that always works. So one
And
is
doing as they ask. Doing as they
yeah,
ask.
doing as they ask, right. So the one way is that you serve them directly, right? You serve them directly. And then the second is that you do things, and this was in response to Meera Mataji's question, right? She was asking that I'm Mata, how to engage in my life. So like if I have to do so many
Yes,
mundane chores.
serving things the way he wants me to do.
Yeah. Do things as we want. And whose example what did I give about somebody did things as he wanted?
Prahlad.
Closer home in the same book.
Arjun?
Dhruv Maharaj.
Arjuna. Yeah, who else is there in that book?
Arjuna.
Right? Didn't
that's
that
true.
right? Right?
True.
Arjun says, right? And even till the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, after he explains everything to Arjuna, Krishna still leaves the choice to Arjuna. He says, Yate Chitti Tatha Kuru. Whatever is your ichha.
Whatever is wish you can do.
You do. But then
So
Arjuna.
Mataji, those by serving him directly and serving him the way he wants.
Not serving
This is
him
what
directly. No, by serving him, by serving him. For example, if I want to please you, I can serve you, right? I can serve you. I can bring your groceries. That is directly serving you, right? And then the second, and then in that serving also, I should be serving you as you like it. For example, when I bring the groceries, I should not dump them. If you want the groceries to be washed and put in the fridge, I should do that. That is one way, right? And the second way is that, when I'm doing things not related to you, I could be doing something else. For example, how I have my dealings with Vindhyavali Mataji. Now, you might have some rules and regulations on that how should you react with other people. Yeah. So when I follow your instructions, Varshana Mataji, and how I deal with Vindhyavali Mataji, that is also going to please you. So it's not anything directly to do with you. I'm handling somebody else, but I'm still following you. And that is what it means. Maya Veshamano ye mam nitya yukta pasate. You keep Krishna in your mind. So how do you keep Krishna in your mind all the time? Right? And that's a quintessential question we keep on asking, that I work, I do programming, I have to use my mind here, I do accounting, I'm teaching to a child, and I'm maintaining, I'm on a phone call with a customer. How can I be thinking of Krishna? So what it basically means, that particular verse that we did from yesterday, is that
Krishna in the center.
Yeah, you have to keep Krishna in the center. Do whatever you are doing. Yat karoshi, yat ashnasi, yat juhosi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kanteva, tat kurushva madarpanam. So whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you give away, you do it as an offering to me. So when you go and you are on the phone talking to a customer, you have to remember that you are a devotee of the Lord. And the person in front of you is also Mame Vansho, Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. He's also an entity. And he's also equally dear to Krishna as you are. And then we will handle and talk to that person in that way. So at the moment we start bringing Krishna consciousness, Krishna into our life, that is being Krishna conscious, right? So Krishna consciousness is
we'll be very conscious about what talking and what doing.
Talking, eating, doing, dealing.
Everything will be conscious.
Everything. Like, if we keep the tap open and brush our teeth, right? So who cares? I have got so much of money. Water is cheap. I can pay the bill. That is one attitude. Second attitude is I'm so busy. I don't even have time to turn off. Right? Third is this is Krishna's energy.
Krishna's thing I shouldn't be wasting.
I should not waste. So you see, The moment you bring Krishna into it, then whatever actions that you're doing, they will automatically become right actions.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that. So Krishna consciousness is all about that. So he's saying, Yathottam parupasate. I've told you all that on the top. I've given you the whole list of how how you can get to me. And in the process of getting me, you'll become a devotee. And I'll tell you what it means to be a devotee. And then he goes on, right? From the verse number 13 all the way up to verse number 18, he's describing the qualities of a devotee.
Dasana, dasana, dasa.
There you go. And it is a difficult thing to be a dasanu, dasanu, dasa. Right? To listen. Why? Because we are Mame Vansho Jivaloke. We are parts and parcels of Krishna. And Krishna is the supreme controller. So we also like to control a little bit. We don't want others to control us. Because the root of it, we never wanted Krishna to control us. We are here, our little free birds. I want to do my own thing. I'm cool. Yep, send me to the material world. I can show you what I'm capable of doing. And then we realize that if you are unable to breathe even for a fraction of a second, we panic.
That's true. Then we think of Krishna.
Then you think of Krishna. Like that, yeah. So Mai eva mana adhatsva, Mai buddhim niveshaya. So yesterday we were talking about that, and I'd like to continue that also today.
Yeah.
But let us do 9 also, and then we'll do 8 and 9 reflection together. Does that seem like a plan?
We don't want to do Bhagavatam today.
You don't want to do Bhagavatam today? That's a very good question. I completely forgot it is Bhagavatam. Yes. Should we do Bhagavatam? I'm always ready for Bhagavatam. Actually, how about this? I bring in some Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Let me bring Bhagavatam in the context of these 2 verses.
Meanwhile, Sulekha Mataji and Shruti Priya Mataji has joined. Would you be able to read so I can add you in the reading order?
Yes, I can read, Mataji.
Sulekha Mataji, let me know.
Sulekha.
Yes, Mataji, I can read too. I'm working on Diwali website, so but I will read on the side.
Yeah, Sulekha Mataji is, for those of you who don't know, Sulekha Mataji, she's been helping us a lot in the book distribution, creating a flyer for the corporate books team. She actually joined us, and she's helping us put up our website. So, and burning a lot of midnight oil, a lot of it, and she's a lot going on in her mundane side of the life. This
No,
that thing to do, all happy things to do, but they require time. And on top of that, she sits down in the night and she works on it. So thank you so much.
No, Mataji, not at all. Thank you so much, though.
And Shruti Priya, I know.
Khyati Mataji, you can remove my name. I have to go. I will watch the recording. Sorry, Mataji.
Alrighty, sorry to see you go.
Me too.
Happy Diwali.
Thank you.
Happy Diwali. Happy Diwali.
Thank you, Mataji.
So this is what Krishna does, like one person leaves and he sends 2 more. But Garima will still miss you. Okay. Yeah, so should we?
New reading order, should I just announce?
Please announce, please.
Vidyavali Mataji, Sukomal Radhe Mataji, Varshana Mataji, then Namazya Mataji, Sulekha Mataji, Shruti Priya Mataji, and then I will read Khyati. And then back to Vidyavali Mataji. So
Fantastic. So let's go back and quickly, the next in line can just read the translations for 12.8. Just read the translation.
Garima, it was Garima Mataji's turn to read, but she's not there. So I think Sulekha Mataji.
Krishna organized.
Or sorry, Namazya Mataji.
All right.
According to the order.
Okay. Just fix your mind, Hare Krishna. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without doubt.
Very good. So let's go a little bit more into this. So engage, just fix your mind upon me. So we were talking about fixing mind upon Krishna, right? Yesterday. And I had brought up this question that sometimes people ask you, like, where are you? Come back. And I was like, where do you go? They ask you to come back. You're sitting and you're sitting in the class and the teacher says, where are you? Come back. So our mind is able to take us to wherever we want to go. And as I told you yesterday, the Manorat.
We can go to all over the world. Mind can go.
You can even go beyond the universe, right?
Without a flight ticket.
Yes. Yes, free of cost. Right?
Yeah, of course.
So, so basically here in this chapter, Krishna is talking about devotional service, and the idea is to reach Krishna. So in order for you to reach Krishna, he of course gave you the various steps on the ladder that you can climb. And if you can't do this, you do this. If you can't do this, you do that. All that is fine. But in the ultimate, our consciousness has to be pure, right? Right? Parthiva daruno dhumas tasmat agni trayimaya tamastastu rajas tasmat satvam yad brahma darshanam. So it says that wood is better than earth. If we take plain earth, the wood comes from the earth, right? You plant a seed in the earth and then the seed grows into a tree. So obviously it's coming from the earth, right? So Parthiva daruno dhumas, right? So he's saying that, from the earth, the wood is better than earth. And then better than just firewood is some smoke, because smoke is giving you an indication that some fire is there. And then better than smoke is fire, proper fire, because when you have proper fire, there are so many things that
We'll know.
you can do things in your material world. For example, you can start cooking, right? You can start blasting your furnaces to do various kinds of activities. You can start fire to start sterilization, whatever you want to do. You can do your mundane activities. And of course, on the spiritual level, you use fire to do the yajna, right? So Parthiva daruno dhumas tasmat agni trayimaya tamastastu rajas tasmat sattvam yad dhamma darshanam. So he's saying just as there is, the wood that comes from earth, so there's wood, there's smoke, and then there is fire, or earth, wood, and fire, like that. So similarly, he says at the lowest level, this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter. And similarly, he's saying that, there is tamas, but mode of ignorance, but better than mode of ignorance is mode of passion, and better than mode of passion is mode of goodness, which he's equating to fire. And then why is the mode of goodness better? Because once you reach the mode of goodness, from there you will be able to transcend this material world and go over to the spiritual side of things. So it is important that when we are taking our mind and we are going and sitting on the manorath, and we are traveling here and there and everywhere, right? We have to raise our consciousness from the tamas, where we by default are. Everybody's born into ignorance. And from there, we have to raise ourselves to the level of goodness and then take the leap into the transcendence. Right? So it's very, very important that our disposition gets improved as we start going up and to reach, finally to reach Krishna over there. So when it comes to doing devotional service to the Lord, what they're basically saying is, as you are transcending, so we might just close our eyes and start to imagine that there's a ladder, right, up against the wall, and then you're climbing on the various rungs of that ladder. So lowest of all is the karmkandi activities, right? Karmkandi activities is that you're doing something for the Lord, but then you are doing it for yourself. Some yajna here, follow the Vedas and things like this. So below that is karmkandi activities. And then even below that is our horrible acts, right? Which are vikarmas that you do without even taking into cognizance that there's something called Krishna. So, and then it will step you through the ladders, there's karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. And then at the top, there is bhakti yoga. So there are these various layers in which that you go, right? And so we can understand that there's a ladder that goes. And so we always think of it as a climb, right? That we are going. And one of the things that Prabhupada suggests is that instead of going through all these various rungs of the ladder, which is a slow process, you can also just go directly to Bhakti Yoga, which is like taking the elevator. So where are we talking about? So we are going somewhere, right? And a long time ago, I had talked to you about distances, right? And I had said that our philosophy, and it is a very fantastic Vedic philosophy of trying to understand things. So they talk about physical distances, right? Physical distance. And then there is something known as a conceptual distance. And I had given examples of that. Physical distance is the same as you understand distances. What is the difference between Chicago, where Shruti Priya is lodged, and San Francisco, where I am? You can take some inch tape if you want, and you can measure it, or you can use other methods of measuring the distance. But you will know that is the distance, right? It's calculatable, and it is there physically for people to see. If you drive a car at X miles an hour, you'll be able to reach there. And anybody and everybody will be able to reach there by just using the vehicle, right? If it's a straight thing. Right? The second thing second distance is known as a conceptual distance. For example, Namazya Mataji could be reading The Nectar of Devotion, the book. And I ask, how far into the book are you?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or how far away are you from completing it? So she's going to tell me so many kilometers and so many miles?
No.
Right?
Chapters.
So there's distances that we use in our day-to-day life also. How far away are you from reaching your goal? Right? How far back in time did it happen? So you're talking about distances in those levels also. So now in the Vedic philosophy, we also measure these conceptual distances are also used a lot when specifying distances between the two planets. And they will use the same measure. The unit of measurement will be the same. So they'll say the distance between America and India is, I don't know, 8,000 miles, 9,000 miles, like that. So that's a physical distance. And they might say, and then the conceptual distance between India and America is 20,000 miles or 100,000 miles or 100,000 miles or something like that. So what is that conceptual distance? The conceptual distance basically means that how much of a transformation you have to undergo, how much of a transformation you have to undergo to be able to reach from one point to another point. For example, I'm sitting here on planet Earth and moon is located some, miles away. Okay. So that is the physical distance. You measure it, you know it. Now, the conceptual distance between Earth and moon is how much of a transformation do I have to undergo? This soul, how much of changes and transformations I have to undergo in my consciousness to be able to reach the moon, because I cannot be born on the moon just like that. You need certain qualifications to be able to reside in any planet in this universe. So if you are here on this planet Earth, this means that we met some qualifications. And because of that, we are here. And that's why people not so intelligent people, they figure it out that there are some planets where there are better material facilities. So they will start doing yajna here. In this life, they will start doing yajnas, etc. And some pious activities they will do so that after death, after the next life, they will be elevated to those planets. They will be able to do that. So it was not that they got a fast car or they got a rocket, that they are sitting it and they are reaching those heavenly planets. They did something here. They did some transformations. In the beginning, they were like, 0 yajnas. And then at the end of the life, okay, you did 26 yajnas. So now you can go to this planet. You gave up so much in donations. You set up so many hospitals and, like that. So you'll reach the heavenly planet. So similarly, there might be a distance between one country and another country, physical distance, but then there is a conceptual distance also. You need to get a visa. If you don't have a visa, you can't come, right? It's got nothing to do with physical distance, but it's a transformation. In the beginning, I was a person with no visa, no work permit, and now I have a person who has got a work permit. So those transformations are there even in our material world, in our day-to-day lives. Also, we talk about conceptual distances are there. We just don't lay these things out like that, right? So when we're talking about this particular ladder and we are measuring these conceptual distances and we are saying that you're progressing up in the ladder, one might imagine that you're going up like that. Oh yes, the consciousness is a higher consciousness. But when he's saying Mayeva mana adhatsva mayi buddhim nivesha, Maye mana adhatsva. So let's sit back and see that if I am to reach that level of consciousness where Krishna, when I can say that my mind is engaged in Krishna, what are the transformations I have to undergo? What are the changes that I have to bring in my life so that I can say that now I'm at that level that my consciousness is engaged in Krishna? And one of the things that we have to do as part of that, right, is all that. Yes, very good. And all those good qualities that he's saying to imbibe from verse number 13 onwards in this book, he's saying, right? But important thing we have to keep in mind also is, as you go up there in this ladder, if you're saying that there's a distance, and like being in the first step of the rung of the ladder versus bhakti yoga, which is the top rung of the ladder. So that transformation that you undergo to be able to reach at that higher level of consciousness is attained by restraining your senses, because your senses are always going out. They're roaming, they're looking around for things. And what are they looking around? What your senses
Necessary
look around
things.
are, what your senses are looking around is actually governed by the desires of the soul. And the desires of the soul are in the mind, embedded as thoughts that will come. So if you want to enjoy something, that desire is there, you will be looking for that. For example, if you have a desire to eat passion fruit today, right? So if you go to the grocery shop, what will your eyes be looking for?
Those kind of food items.
That item, right? You want to eat an apple, you want to eat cheese, you'll be looking for, where's the aisle? Where do they keep cheese? So this is what happens. The desires will start, and because of desires, your eyes, they go out to the material world. Right? But as you elevate your Krishna consciousness, and to say that my mind is always engaged in me, I have to look inside. I have to look inside. Because where is Krishna inside?
Heart.
He's in your heart, as the Vishnu. What's the name of the Vishnu in the heart?
Paramatma.
Yes, Paramatma, but in the terms of Vishnu, that Paramatma has another name. Yeah, that's correct. See, he's in the heart as Shirodakshayi Vishnu.
Shirodakshayi.
This you should write in a little piece of paper and keep it on your desk.
Yes.
Yeah. Right? So that you remember. Okay, so he's there. So what we are saying is that we have to withdraw our senses. And in the fifth chapter, we come across where Krishna says, Yehi samsparsha ya bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adi antavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. So he's saying that this so-called happiness that you get, yahi samsparsha ya bhoga. So he's saying that it is all these so-called happiness that you get, you think you're getting, they're only coming from the contact of the senses with the sense objects, right? So your senses, like for example, my eyes, and they will contact that bright passion fruit that I want to eat. So because of the contact with the eyes, then you will think that I'm happy, and then you will eat 10 passion fruits, and then you'll have a pain in your stomach. So dukkha yonaya evate. So these are like yoni is womb. So these are, they give rise to. So from this, from your senses engaging in material sense objects is where dukkha or unhappiness is born. So what we have to do instead is that we have to bring our thoughts inside to Krishna, inside a heart. In your heart, you can look at him as the 400 form of Vishnu, or you can look at the 200 form of Krishna also in your heart. Depending on your consciousness, that is where you will be. So he says, Mayeva man adhatsva mai buddhim niveshaya nivashyasai mayeva. Nivashyasai mayeva. He says that you're going to live in me. What exactly does it mean to live in me? Like, do I carve some rooms inside Krishna and start living inside him? No. So what they're saying is that where do we reside?
Live in his thoughts.
Where do you reside? Let's look at this question. And I'm asking this question as you as a soul. Where are you residing?
Residing in his thoughts, Mataji, all the time.
Where is the soul in your body?
In my heart.
In your heart, right? So this is where the soul resides. So we did that in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. That is where the soul is. We also went to the size of the soul and so forth. So, and then when the soul leaves the body, we say the body died, right? So that is the first place of residence. That is where the soul lives. But we also know that the soul can get transported on the vehicle of the mind. Manorathena siddhavato bahi. So I can also sit there and leave this body and go someplace else. Right? So that is how I can reach various planets. And that is what I also do when I'm dreaming. I go to various places. Where do you go? How do you go? You are lying on that couch, right? This is where you go. So we reside not just where our bodies lie, right? The soul is not only just residing, but also where your thoughts are lying. So when he says you reside in me, Krishna basically means that your thought, you should be thinking about me. And then before you ask that question that how can I think about Krishna all the time? I have so many chores to do. We discussed that, right? We discussed that even when you're doing so-called mundane things, if you keep yourself Krishna conscious and apply from verse number 13 to verse number 18 in your transactions in life, then you are really nivashisaimayeva atha urdhvam na sansaya. Right? Do not doubt that it's going to happen. It will happen. And it's just a practice. It might not come easily in the beginning, but it will be there. Right? So all that you have to do is to have your thoughts reside in Krishna. And how do you do that? The more you think about Krishna, the more thoughts will be and more images will be formed in your head, in your mind. And so there are chances that the mind will stumble upon that particular thought. And I have a very good friend, Nirguna, and he told me something very fantastic. He's a good devotee of the Lord. And he says that what he does is in the winters, after he's taken a nice warm shower, he's here. And so after he takes a warm shower, he turns the tap to the cold side, right? And so when the cold water falls in him, he gasps for breath. And when he gasps for breath, he says, I at that time, I start reciting the name of Krishna. And I said, oh, why do you do that? He said, because when I'm dying, I will be gasping for breath. And I'm practicing that how I will at that time also chant the names of the Lord. So people do it, people do it in different ways. I'm not recommending that you do it, especially the cold water is coming, cold season is coming, but people do all kinds of things so that they can remember Krishna at the time of death. And one of the ways you'll do that, and all these good qualities, right? Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarver gunas tatra samasate suraha harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sit dhavato bahi. So when you become a devotee of the Lord, the good qualities will slowly start coming into your life, right? So we have to just learn how to control these things, this sense is trying to go out to the external. And in second chapter, when we resume reading it after Kartik, we will come across, they gives a very nice example of an animal who does that, withdrawing. What is that animal that is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita?
Tortoise.
Tortoise, exactly. Right? The tortoise can withdraw the limbs inside, right? And go. So that's what they're saying, that whenever you have to do a certain thing, you let your senses go, do whatever you have to do, and then just come back in. And what that means is that, don't just pick up any magazine, fashion magazine and things like that, and just lazily, go through this. Then you're letting loose your senses. And then one thing will lead to another. And all of us have got that experience of being on internet, right? And we're like, okay, let me just check one thing. And before you know, 2 hours have gone. Because internet is designed that way.
That's true.
Right? It is designed that way to sell things. So from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, you find that, oh, I'm in Amazon.com. I'm ordering things, right? So we have to control. So the purpose is that, why do we have to control? That is that you have to redirect inside. So if you stop going outside and then start going inside. And that is why we are telling you that, whenever you do the littles, the least that you have to do, you do that. And then on a special day, you do some extremes also, like austerities, vrata that you keep, right? Every Kadashi we fast, Janmashtami we fast, and so on and so forth. That is that, okay, the tongue is wanting food, but I'm controlling it. I won't give food to the tongue all the time it demands. Instead, I'm going to sit down and read the Bhagavatam. So similarly, to control your mind, sometimes we also do some external activities. And that is what Krishna is saying. See, in the beginning, he says, just fix your mind. Mayeva man adhatsva, right? Put your mind on me. Mayi buddhim nivesha, invest your intelligence on me. Niveshi say mayeva, you will live in me. Ata urdhvam na chansaya, do not have doubt in me. So he's telling you that. But then in the next verse, he will say, Ata chittam samadhatum na shaknosi mayi siram. Abhyasa yogena tatho mam ichhaptum dhananjaya. So he said, if you're not able to engage your mind in me, then you do abhyas. Abhyas means you do practice. For example, deity worship, right? You worship the deity, you make aarti plate, you offer aarti to the Lord 3 times. This is practice that you're doing. Practice. And the idea is that, when you are doing deity worship, you're focusing on, at least for that point of time, you're focusing on Krishna. right? There's a form in front of you. You're saying, okay, and I have to make the thali. I'm doing this. Even at that time, mind will go here and there. But there's a little bit of a reverence there. There's a deity in front of me. I'm doing things. So we are a little bit well behaved in front of a deity. So we do that. And then the idea again is that from that practice, your mind will start to concentrate on that. And then you'll start going to the very first thing that he said, Mayi Vaman Adatsva. So idea is that, through all these processes that we do, the mind has to get engaged in Krishna, like that, right? So that is the essence of that particular verse, like going a little bit deeper. So we didn't go that deep yesterday. So I wanted to cover that. So reflections, thoughts. Special Diwali.
Controlling mind is the main thing, Mataji.
Yes.
And concentrating on Krishna for everything, put Krishna in the center. Yeah. That is another thing I felt from this.
Yes, very nice.
And faith is another one.
It begins. It starts in the beginning.
It starts in the beginning. Hence.
Hare Krishna, Vandana.
Yeah.
I really liked, Mataji, when you said conceptual distance. This is very important to know that, like you said, how far have you reached in reading that book? And same way, you can be anywhere in the world in a conceptual way.
Yeah.
And you can be, you see, yesterday, Mataji, at night, I was just thinking that Paramatma, I mean, my soul is in my heart. And suddenly this, you see, from somebody I heard that this body is also made of, you see, this is also 5 elements, different 5 elements, and earth is one of them. So I was just thinking that this is also like a diya, and in this diya, in this made of Adan diya, there is a light which is Atma, and it is giving light, but unfortunately we have covered with many other things, like you see, lust, desires, sinful activities, and many other things we have covered it with. And you see, only with Krishna, remembering Krishna, I can only clean that dust, and then this light will be light will shine very nicely, and then only I'll be able to go to Krishna.
Very nicely said, and to equate and to equate the body to a lamp, having been made from earth, and we talk about earthenware lamps on the occasion of Diwali. This is so beautifully put, and I would actually encourage you to, why don't you, because you write poetry also, Rachana Mataji, so why don't you write this down, these beautiful thoughts, you convert that into poetry. It'll be beautiful, and then you can share with all of us like that. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I could hear you, Mataji.
Ooh.
I could hear you.
You could or could not?
Could not hear.
Could not. He couldn't hear me. Okay, yeah. No, I was just saying that it's such a beautiful thought that you have said on the occasion of Diwali, where everybody is lighting lamps, right? We are talking about lamps and lighting lamps. And so I had actually given a lecture 2 years ago, precisely on this day, eve of Diwali, on, or I think it was Diwali day, that this Diwali, light the lamp in your heart. And that is what it should be. So I was saying that you have put it so poetically, and since you do write poetry, why don't you join? Why don't you?
I will. I was just thinking of that. I should sit and
take
the ideas from Bhagavad Gita and you see, compile the thing.
Compile the thing. So yes, and then so your body is compared to 2 things, and it's not my soul; it is my body. So we reside in this body, and then so that makes the body a lamp. As you can see, the soul is also shiny, but also along with that, and not a but also along with that, this body is also called as a tabernacle. A tabernacle is a moving temple, a temple that is mobile temple. So tabernacle. So what is a temple? A temple is a place where you have the Lord, right? And where is the Lord? The Lord is in our heart.
Heart.
Right? So your body is also a temple. So it's complete, you know. The two can be there. So very nicely put. Yeah, beautiful.
That's what when we put tilak also. Is that right, Mataji?
Well, for tilak, I have heard different interpretations of the tilak. Sometimes they say that it is a footprint of Krishna, and I'm putting it on my forehead to show that I am.
Our hands and chest, we do, no?
Yeah. But Sukomal, what are you saying?
Yeah, I was just saying when you said that we should also preach and share, spread the word of Krishna. So today in my school for Diwali, along with sweets and snacks, I gave every teacher a Bhagavad Gita, and they were so amazed. I mean, they never expected
wonderful.
it. So they all thought, why is this gift bag so heavy? Because I gave the hardbound one.
Good.
And they thought, oh, it's so full of food, so much food. And then they look at it and they see the Gita.
Yeah,
and they were so
fantastic.
happy. So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Spiritual gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everlasting.
Everlasting.
Ativ mein priya. So you'll become dear to Krishna. Yeah.
So, Mataji, when my sister passed away, at that time, the people on the fourth day when they come, you see, for condolence, that time we had kept Bhagavad Gitas in Hindi, English, all of them. And whoever wanted whichever language, they took it and went. And one of them asked in Punjabi also. I said, oh, sorry, I don't have in Punjabi.
You should have got Punjabi because you're from Punjab.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a good time because there's something known as Smashan Vairagya.
Yes,
Smashan means when you are close to the
same thing I did for my husband's thing also.
Wow. So this Diwali, light the lamp on your heart.
Yes.
This Diwali, let Nrsimha Dev come into your heart and remove all the things. The way he just got it. The way he got it.
Mataji, I always tell Nrsimha Dev, you see, when I'm praying or I'm reading or something, you see, when my mind goes here and there, and you see, or any bad thought comes to the mind, I tell him that you have such sharp nails. Why don't you remove surgically from my mind this thought?
A good prayer.
That's a good one.
So if you find claw marks on Prashana's head next time, you know where they are.
Lord Narasimha will say there's nothing else to remove.
Yes, that's also true.
What did you say, Mataji? Kathy Mataji?
I said, Lord Narasimha Dev will say there is nothing else to remove because you are full of devotion, right? So he cannot take away that.
True.
No matter, there is lot of clutter is also there.
The good thing is that we are able to see the clutter. to acknowledge, I didn't even know that there was clutter.
But then we need to do something about it.
Yes. Take Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean. You got those Mr. Clean thing?
Yeah, that advertisement.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. And I'm not advertising. But yes, you have to use Mr. Mantra to clean.
Mr. Clean.
I was just thinking that should we read the Shikshashtakam? We should do something a little extra because it's Diwali.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
How are you doing for time?
Great.
Great.
Doing great, Mataji.
Yeah, because there was something I wanted to, a few verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm just thinking, since we are talking about how to engage the mind in Krishna, it'll also give us a nice mood because it talks about Krishna. It's a happy part of Bhagavatam. If you have a few minutes, so maybe we can read, each one of us can read 2 verses, 2 translations from there, and we can go there. What do you say?
Yes.
Yes.
I am ready.
You're ready? Okay, so let me bring this up and here. SB1, I think 11. Okay, 111. First canto, 11th chapter. Yeah, Krishna returns to that. Okay. So this is about yeah, let me see, chapter 11. Yeah, entrance. I'm in the right place. Yeah. Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. So this is about the time that the Mahabharat war is over. And then after during the Mahabharat war, I'm getting some sound from
Yeah, there's a lot of background sound.
Yeah. Some music is coming.
From G Galaxy or S9.
Okay, Galaxy, I muted. Okay. So yeah, so this is from after the Mahabharat war was completed. So everybody had died. So our Yudhishthira Maharaj was very morose after that. He felt very bad, and he said, "All this happened. So many people died because of me, because I wanted the kingdom." So he was going through all that, and then Krishna stays back to pacify. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we're also reading about after the Mahabharata, last before Duryodhan dies, there is this Ashwatthama who does all that nonsense that he does. Yeah. And then then Krishna doesn't completely, Arjuna doesn't completely kill him because of the various reasons which are there. And Varshana Machaji also had a question. She asked me in private that, is it really nice to let go of such people? Should we have not done it in the first place? So yeah, that thing is always there, but then there are certain injunctions of the Shastras, and one of the injunctions was if a person is the son of your teacher or your teacher, you don't kill them. And so then Ashwatthama again tries to kill Parikshit Maharaj in the womb of Uttara. So Krishna goes and saves that also. Okay? And then after he does all that, he stays behind because the people are feeling so bad. And then after some time, he goes back to Dwarka because that's where he was. He was married to his wives and he was living there. He had actually left all of them and had come to help the Pandavas to fight the Mahabharat war and all that. And after that, he goes back. So this particular chapter is talking about Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. So some of the we won't do the whole chapter, but we'll go at least like a half of it or some parts of it. So whose turn, Khyati Mataji, it is to read now? Do you remember?
Sulekha Mataji.
My turn, Mataji.
All righty, Sulekha, 2 verses for us.
Okay.
We don't have the screen, Mataji.
You don't have the screen. How can you read 2 verses if
That's right.
bad and I'm not sharing?
Hey Krishna, we have to say.
Okay.
And Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I was supposed to read this today in the evening, and you are making me read now. Wow.
Krishna's the teacher.
We are also reading this chapter with my friends, so it's perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
Krishna's arrangement, yeah. How Gita and Bhagavatam got connected, right?
Yes.
And then yeah.
Our daily sequences also.
Right. And yep, let's see.
Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwarka. Text 1. Sutta Goswami said, upon reaching the border of his most prosperous metropolis, known as the country of the Antaras, Dwarka, the Lord sounded his auspicious conch shell, heralding his arrival and apparently pacifying the dejection of the inhabitants. Text 2. The white and fat bold conch shell, being gripped by the hand of Lord Krishna and sounded by him, appeared to be reddened by the touch of his transcendental lips. It seemed that a white swan was playing in the stems of the red lotus flowers. Hare Krishna.
Who's after?
Is it my turn? I think it's my turn, right?
Yes, Mataji, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you. The citizens of Dwarka, having heard that sound which threatens fear personified in the material world, began to run towards him fast, just to have a long desired audience with the Lord, who is the protector of all devotees. Text 4:5. The citizens arrived before the Lord with their respective presentations, offering them to the fully satisfied and self sufficient one who, by his own potency, incessantly supplies others. These presentations were like the offering of a lamb to the sun. Yet the citizens began to speak in ecstatic language to receive the Lord, just as wards welcome their guardian and father.
So someone called Galaxy S9 joined. Would you like to read?
Yes, and I'd like to know who's on Galaxy S9. Sounds like a planet. Galaxy S9, you are on mute. If you want to disclose your energy. All right, we'll skip to the next one.
Okay, Mataji, I'll read. The citizen said, "O Lord, you are worshipped by all demigods like Brahma, the
Sanas.
four sanas, and even the King of heaven. You are the ultimate rest for those who are really aspiring to achieve the highest benefit of life. You are the supreme transcendental Lord, and inevitable time cannot exert its influence upon you. O Creator of the universe, you are our Mother, Well-wisher, Lord, Father, Spiritual Master, and worshipable deity. By following in your footsteps, we have become successful in every respect. We pray, therefore, that you continue to bless us with your mercy. Hare Krishna. I think it's Vindhyavali
Me?
Mataji's turn. Yes.
Yeah. Text 8. Oh, it is our good luck that we have come again today under your protection by your presence. For your Lordship rarely visits even the denizens of heaven. Now it is possible for us to look into your smiling face, which is full of affectionate glances. We can now see your transcendental form full of all auspiciousness. Text 9. O lotus-eyed Lord, whenever you go away to Mathura Vrindavan or Hastinapura to meet your friends and relatives, every moment of your absence seems like millions of years. Oh, infallible one, at that time our eyes become useless as if bereft, bereft of sun. Hare Krishna. Sukamala Mataji.
Thank you. Yeah. O Master, if you live abroad all the time, then we cannot look at your attractive face, whose smiles vanquish all our sufferings. How can we exist without your presence? Upon hearing their speeches, the Lord, who is very kind to the citizens and the devotees, entered the city of Dwarka and acknowledged all their greetings by casting his transcendental glance over them. As Bhogavati, the capital of Nagaloka, is protected by the Nagas, so was Dwarka protected by the descendants of Vrishni. Bhoja, Madhu, Dashara, Arha, Kukura, Andaka, etc., who were as strong as Lord Krishna. Varshana Mataji.
Varshana Mataji, you might be reading on mute.
No, Mataji, Hare Krishna, can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, now we can hear
You're on mute.
Mataji, which is the text? Because, no, not mute, Mataji.
12.
Text 12. And the city of Dwarka Puri was filled with opulences of all seasons. There were hermitage, orchards, flower gardens, parks, and reservoirs of water, breeding lotus flowers all over. Text 13. The city gateway, the household doors, and festooned arcs. What is it, Mother?
Arches.
Arches along with the road were all nicely decorated with festive signs like plantain trees and mango leaves. all to welcome the Lord. Flags, garlands, and painted signs and slogans all combine to shade the sunshine. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Test 14. The highways, subways, lanes, markets and public meetings places were all thoroughly cleansed and then moistened with essence water. And to welcome the Lord, fruits, flowers, and broken seeds were strewn everywhere. Test 15. In each and every door of the residential houses, auspicious things like curd, unbroken fruits, sugar cane, and full water pots with articles of worship, incense, and candles were all displayed. Hare Krishna.
Sulekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, could you please tell me which text number?
1617.
Okay. On hearing that the most dear Krishna was approaching Dwarka Dhama, magnanimous Vasudeva, Akura, Ura,
Ugrasen.
Ugrasena, Balarama, the superhumanly powerful Pradanyuma, Karu, Pradyunuma, Karudesna, and Samba, the son of Jambavati, all extremely happy, abandoned resting, sitting, and dining. Text 18. They hastened towards the Lord on chariots with brahmanas bearing flowers. Before them were elephants, emblems of good fortune. Conch shells and bugles resounded, and Vedic hymns were chanted. They were offered their respects, which were saturated with affection. Hare Krishna.
Text 19. At the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. Text 20. Expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contributions, being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord. Thus they proceeded on and on.
Vindhyavali Mataji, it's your turn.
Okay. Text 21. Kathy is not saying?
No, she just texted. She can't read.
Okay. Text 21. Lord Krishna, the personality of God had approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive and welcome him. Text 22. The Almighty Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head, exchanging greetings, embracing, shaking hands, looking and smiling, giving assurance and awarding benedictions, even to the lowest in rank. Hare Krishna, Sukomala Mataji.
Text 23. Then the Lord personally entered the city accompanied by elderly relatives and invalid brahmanas with their wives, all offering benedictions and singing the glories of the Lord. Others also praised the glories of the Lord. Text 24. When Lord Krishna passed over the public roads, all the ladies from the respectable families of Dwarka went up to the roofs of their palaces just to have a look at the Lord. They considered this to be the greatest festival.
Of course. It's a good festival.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. The inhabitants of Dwarka were regularly accustomed to look upon the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord, yet they were never satiated. Text 26. The Lord's chest is the abode of goodness, of fortune. His moon-like face is the drinking vessel for eyes, and which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordship. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 27. As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwarka, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans move in semicircles, and shower of flowers fall upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made appear as dark clouds, were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. Text 28. After entering the house of his father, he was embraced present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother. Hare Krishna.
Who's next?
Sulekha Mataji.
Sulekha? Who's after Sulekha?
I can. Mother.
Okay, go ahead.
Text 29. The mothers, after embracing their son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord. Text 30. Thereafter, the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000.
Text 31. The Queen of Lord Sri Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husbands home after a long period abroad. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditations. As was socially customary, they covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly. Text 32. The insuperable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recesses of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually, and then they. Mataji, can you scroll it up, please?
Yes.
Then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But, O chief amongst the Brigus, though they tried to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears. Sukamala Mataji.
Yeah. Although Lord Sri Krishna was constantly by their sides as well as exclusively alone, his feet appeared to them to be newer and newer. The goddess of fortune, although by nature always restless and moving, could not quit the Lord's feet. So, what woman can be detached from those feet, having once taken shelter of them? The Lord was pacified after killing those kings who were burdensome to the earth. They were puffed up with their military strength, their horses, elephants, chariots, infantry, etc. He himself was not a party in the fight. He simply created hostility between the powerful administrators, and they fought amongst themselves. He was like the wind which causes friction between bamboos and so sparks a fire. Vashana.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 35. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, appeared on this planet by his internal potency and enjoyed himself amongst competent women as if he were engaging in mundane affairs. Text 36. Although the queen's beautiful smiles and furtive glances were all spotless and exciting, and although they could conquer Cupid himself by making him give up his bow in frustration, and although even the tolerant Shiva could fall a victim of them. Still, despite all their magical feats and attraction, they could not agitate the senses of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 37. The common materialist conditioned souls speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached. Text 38. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. Hare Krishna. Suleka or?
I don't think Suleka is in a position to read.
Okay, I'll read. Text 39. The simple and delicate woman truly thought that Lord Sri Krishna, their beloved husband, followed them and was dominated by them. They were unaware of the extent of the glories of their husband, as the atheists are unaware of him as a supreme controller.
Hari Om. There you go. We read a chapter from Srimad Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam also. So why I brought this chapter was because today we did 2.8 majorly, although we plan to do 9 as well, but that's fine. I wanted to bring the concept in of Mayeva man adhatsva mayi buddhim nivesha. Mayeva man adhatsva, engage your mind. So from this narration, who do you think was engaging their minds in Krishna?
All his wives.
The wives
All his wives, right?
embrace Krishna.
Right?
Because I was feeling that when he's coming, all the flowers and other things, the decorations, conch shells, I felt that, whole thing I was as if I'm visualizing that.
Visualizing, yeah. So about constant thinking, something to keep in mind is his wives, his 16,108 wives.
Yeah.
And there's a particular verse in there which I'll just bring in. We don't have to read the whole verse because of paucity of time, but I just wanted to bring this one little section from here, which has got to do with his wives, and which is very interesting. And let me see if I can find it here. Here. Who's next in line to start reading from here all the way till here?
Indiyavali Mataji.
Indiyavali? Okay.
The queens of Lord Krishna were all in meditation, thinking of the Lord's absence, and were always meditating upon him. The Lord's devotees cannot live for a moment without meditating on the Lord. And what to speak of the queens, who were all goddesses of fortune, incarnated as queens in the pastimes of the Lord at Dwarka. They can never be separated from the Lord, either by presence or by trance.
So the key words
very good.
Yeah, the key words to take here are that you can never be separated from God,
from Krishna,
either by presence or by trance. You see, his
By
wives were
trance.
so much involved, so much engaged and on meditating on their husband that even if the husband goes away for 6 months, it doesn't matter because they still have him in your mind. So that is the strength of the mind. And if he comes in front of you, that's fine. That's even better. But they were never ever separated from him. So that's the kind of separation we are talking about, and which basically means that when we are engaged in our mundane activities, at that time also, we can still be our second channel, the back channel, could still be tuned to Krishna. We could have him at the back of his mind, directing us in the front, what we are doing, right? In our mundane activities, he could still be giving us directions from the back. And that is also trance, and that is Mayeva man adhatsva. you can still engage your mind like the queens of Dwarka.
That's very good, Mataji. The separation, how they were feeling.
Yes, Mataji. And Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji Srila Prabhupada also wrote in one of his letters to his disciple when he said that Guru Maharaj, when you go away, how will we live? And he said, then he gave the example of Vani and Vapu. And he said, physically, it does not matter whether I'm there or not, but my books will always
But
be
books are
with
there.
you. And you will be, through my Vani, you will be able to, I will be with you. So always in the mind.
Exactly right.
Just
And
remember
Krishna,
that.
yeah,
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
there
that's
you go. Very good connection. And then going back again to 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which you are reading, the last verse, verse number 28, is Yathoktam Parupasate, as I have said, which is Vani. Krishna's Vani, right? We didn't have Vapu association of Krishna. He came 5,000 years ago. But you are having Vani association. And look at
Yes,
how
yes.
powerful his Vani is. That it
That's
continues to affect people 5,000 years after it was spoken recently.
Yes.
And will continue to affect people in such a profound way. So, yes.
Some people are so unfortunate, Mataji, that they don't trust in this.
And that's fine. Yes, you can pray for them, Varshana.
I was thinking that modern days, so what to speak about young married people, they just not that much attached or thinking of, I don't know, lot of younger people I see.
Yeah, so that is why it is very important to groom them when they are young, and that's why our youth exams are so important. Yeah, you have to groom them from the beginning. As you sow, so shall you reap.
I'm going to mention something.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I come to meet Krishna very old, so and nobody talked to me about Krishna until I see Shraddha Mataji.
No. You were already there in the temple, so somebody told you not.
But nobody talked to me much about it. So yeah. So I think I don't know if this is real or not, but I always asking myself why it take me so long. Why it take me so long to meet Krishna? And I guess is completely a reason, like we've been talking and hearing all this. Maybe my past life, I die in this time of my life. So,
yeah.
But anyway, it takes too long, and I wonder that I still meet Krishna. Well, I mean, I still knowing Krishna at this time of age. I wish I was very young when I meet him, but
it doesn't matter. You are, or the soul is always young. Soul never goes old. And this thought and this force that is inside you, which is hankering for more association with Krishna, and you're thinking that I wasted so much of my life earlier. I started so late in life as well, at 47. You started much younger. So it doesn't matter. And the reason that I can talk about myself is that I had some desires, material desires, and they had to be fulfilled before I could, turn to Krishna consciousness. But then after you turn to Krishna consciousness, there is no, when you are walking the path of Krishna consciousness, or you're on the highway of devotional service, you can get a Ferrari and like you can go fast like that, or you can go slow. But the real fact, the main thing that you should be happy about is that when you had a choice of joining any of the freeways which are available in this world, you chose the right one, which is going to lead to Krishna consciousness. All that you have to do is to follow your spiritual master, and you will reach. If you follow a person who has a plan, then you will also reach his goal because you're following him. So following is so important thing to do. It's so important.
Mataji, my life experience is from childhood, I was praying, and I was going and praying all the God and everything. But I didn't have any ambition or anything I want to my material thing, and any desires or anything. Just like that I was doing. And then from 84, I came to this country. I started going to Krishna temple, and I was doing service. I was singing. I was doing everything. Still, I didn't know that Bhagavad Gita. I was since long time. I was reading a chapter every day. Keep on. If I don't understand, I go back to the sloka and read again, 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 like that. I was doing everything, but I didn't have any specific. Oh no, I have to go to Krishna conscious. I need to have a guru. No, nothing. From 84, I was going, doing service, everything, cooking, everything, singing, everything I was doing. But home programs we used to have. Everything I used to enjoy, everybody used to enjoy with me. But I didn't have any particular thing that I need to have guru. I need to go for this path like this. No. But you know what? When I had, just after my daughter had this thing, her initiation, then I said, no, I should have guru before I die, because I don't have any time, not enough time. I'm older than her, and she got it, and I have to do something. Then I was thinking that's what happened to me. I don't know. I was thinking. Then I asked in the temple also by Sheshika Prabhu, Prabhu, I don't have enough time. I don't know. I am already past 70. So what is that? But I didn't, I asked for it and I kept quiet 1.5 years. So then this came. Then now I am 75. So I got into this from morning 4 o'clock. I just attended another Bhagavatam class from Philadelphia. There 7 o'clock, my 4 o'clock. So okay, 4 o'clock, and I sit here. And now it is 8 o'clock. I am here.
Good time.
So my time is going like that, and this Zoom, and I feel that I am in the temple. I am with the devotees. I am just listening to Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. I am enjoying that. My son came twice and, are you still in the class? I said, yes, I'm in the class. I didn't feel that. But he was feeling, I closed my door and I was sitting here. And he asked me. But that's how time has to come for anything, I think. I don't know. Krishna's mercy, just he thought, no, now she has to go into the path only. She's going just like that. I open book like that I'm doing, but no aim, nothing. So that I don't know, that surprises me, Mata.
No, well, that this is exactly your life is. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And so your life is a classic example of adhav shraddha tatha sadhu sangha tatha bhajana kriya. Right? This is such a nice example. In the beginning, you were doing just because of cultural momentum. You happened to be born, not happened to be born, but you were placed in a family which was doing certain things, and you learned all that, and you came to USA. You did some more, and some more, right? So what you were doing was that you were gathering what is known as pious credits, and so you were actually becoming entitled, and you were crossing and covering the conceptual distance, the distance that is there from becoming a formal, devotee, right? So you did that. You started gathering whatever it requires to cover that conceptual distance till you walked into the temple, and I think Su Madhura Mataji, whoever talked to you about initiation. And then bhajana kriya is exactly that you get initiated and then you do bhajan under the guidance of a spiritual master. That's what you're doing. And now you see ruchi is coming. So these things, the anartha nivritti will happen. So all these things are going to happen. So this is a classic example of how you are going through the stages of life.
But at this rate, I should have started a long time ago from Krishna conscious, like my daughter did it. Before that, I should have started.
Exactly.
But I'm in this, but I didn't do.
No, so here's the thing, and I'll tell you the key. You are thinking she's your daughter.
That's true.
There you
No
go.
attachments.
Yes, one sentence. No attachment and no judgment also.
No judgment
She's
also.
menor, she's smaller, she's younger, how can she?
Even Denver, we used to walk to the temple every day, walking distance only. Every day we used to go. She used to go. I used to go, participate, everything.
Yeah, yeah. And Bhagavatam, which you're reading, is a classic example of paradigm shift, where everywhere we learn, and we see in this world also that the parents teach the kids. But Prahlad Maharaj was teaching his father. There are things like that in the Bhagavatam which I mentioned.
Yeah.
And they will, yeah. So thank you for fantastic life that you're leading, and have no regrets. Don't have any regrets. Just be happy that
Sometimes I feel I caught up in too late thing in my life.
It's never too late to start. You got started, you took to the right path. And Namazya Mataji also, you have taken to the right path. Each one of you has taken to the right path. Just stay on that path. And to stay on that path, you need devotees, because if you are slipping off the track,
there's no point of slipping, because I made up my mind, everything is fine. But it was started late, that's what I feel sometimes.
Doesn't matter. Just move along the plan, surrender to Krishna and say, okay, Krishna, this was your plan. This is how you wanted it. And of course, I might have some subtle desire.
When I was sick so much that in the hospital, I was thinking, oh, thank God I had Guru. Now I am in that thing, God saved me. I had this, my country, everything. No, I am fine. If I go also, I'm not worried. That's how I started thinking at that time.
Yeah, sometimes these reversals in life come just for a learning experience for us. And to start taking life seriously. And then just by hearing about your experience, I think we all should get serious, right? I mean, salmonella bacteria, how far away is it from us? We buy from the same stores.
Right. I don't know, but if they say water, I don't know. I drank only in the house, only water, my daughter's house. I was drinking all the time. Why this should come at this time? I have no idea.
Don't even waste your time thinking about it. Just be thankful that you got out of it.
Anyway, I was done.
Yeah, there's no point speculating from where did that bacteria come. Like Prabhupada also says, don't even speculate on why am I here in this material world. Don't even waste your time thinking about that. The reality is that you are here in this material world. Now we better learn how to get out of it. Yeah, for some reason, somehow or the other. That's all. But now, tell me how to get out of it. Like if you're falling in a well, you don't spend your energy thinking, why did I fall in the well? You're like, come on, tell me how to get out of it, right? So
that's true, Mataji.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
So we went on for 2 hours today. I didn't have any meetings tonight. So I wanted to tell you that when I have to leave you also suddenly, I really feel bad in my heart for doing that. My real joy is sitting here.
We feel bad too.
I always tell that, for the hours and hours.
We don't want to leave.
Yeah, my waking hours, my best hour is 7 to 8 every evening or every other evening that I spend. Now, having said that, I wanted to ask you about program for tomorrow, what your plans are. We meet at 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, if you're
interested,
I'll be happy. I'll be happy to have.
I'm happy.
All right. Even if one person comes, I'm having the session.
6 o'clock. I don't have any problem.
I'll be there.
I am sitting at the Zoom, as I told you, Mataji. I'm sitting at this only. That's all.
Mataji, tomorrow at 6 o'clock a.m.
Evening.
PM.
Oh, evening. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
We have Japa session at 4 o'clock, they say they had.
Okay. So I will take your permission then.
Okay. Thank you, Shraddha.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to
everybody. Happy Diwali to everybody.
And
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarupya kripa sindhabhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Yeah, and let the teachings of Srila Prabhupada light your heart and stay you completely illuminated for the rest of your life.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. There you are.
There you are
at the end.
Darshan.
Very nice.
Inka darshan ho gaya.
We had a long class so that we could have darshan of Prabhu.
Yeah, that's
I was around only, but I just thought that I was listening. So.
Can you see my lights? Oh, wait.
Nice to see you.
Oh, very nice. And then,
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali. Is Aruni Mataji trying to say something?
Yeah, can you see my lights?
Yeah, very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Show on. Okay, we will keep quiet and you speak.
No, that's all. I just wanted to show you my lights.
Very nice, Mataji.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I was asking you to speak because when you speak, your photo comes in the front. If I speak, then I come on the.
I see. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, can you see my lights now?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it because I did it myself.
Good.
and then out the window as well.
Yeah, very nice, Aruni Mataji.
The happy house.
Happy
Happy
Diwali.
home.
Diwali, everybody.
I also put the lamps outside the house, but I made those pots. I mean the small.
Oh, you baked them?
Yeah, I made the diyas.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You have to show them to us someday.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Tomorrow I'll
We
show
would like to see them.
Yeah.
So
I'll show it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I made a cake from the Higher Taste book. If it wasn't for COVID, I would offer it all to you.
We'll take it. We'll take it on Zoom. Show it to us. Yeah, very nice. Very nice, very nice. Happy, Sa. With that happy picture, we should retire for the day. Beautiful. Your home is looking so beautiful, Mataji. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. Actually, from based on what description she gives me, I haven't been to her house. Aruni Mataji's walls are covered with Krishna paintings and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to come soon.
Yes.
Phase is over.
Yeah. Okay, then Danvat Pramans to all of you. Have a nice day. For those of you who did not watch us on Facebook, I'm going to stop the live stream. I'm going to end this class tomorrow at 6 p.m. Yes, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Those of you who are in corporate book distribution team, there's a mandatory meeting conducted by the leaders, Malini Mataji and Shri Krishna Purushottam